So I went to see The Iron Claw last night, and it was, in short summary, very okay. The true story of four brothers who, due to their mentally abusive and pressuring father, all end up in the world of wrestling, and this endeavour ultimately ends in horrible tragedy. The fact these things happened is actually far more interesting than the movie itself, which is therefore just a retelling of events in a very standard manner. The movie, though, is the cast. The performances are very good, everyone seems very real, the relationships feel intimate and genuine, and the family really acts like they're all related and have known each other for years. Zac Efron is the lead and is juiced up to the max for this film, which seems a bit of a waste when his brothers and co-stars, for the most part, are built but avoided going loco on the steroids. Zac looks massive, out of place at times, but fair play for the investment. I'm not sure though that his performance, which is markedly excellent, coupled with the physical commitment, will get Zac any best actor nods though. The main villain of this movie is the brother's father, who reminds me of the general from Avatar. He himself blames everyone for why he never made it as a world champion wrestler, and he uses his sons to fulfill his own broken dreams, relentlessly discarding each one of the brothers while manipulating the others to achieve his goals. The way he does it isn't through force but through abusing fatherly affection. It is very twisted, but at the same time rides the line of whether the father actually is a knowing monster or a victim of his era and his negative experiences. The mother herself seems to be from a different era as well. She refuses to get involved with the boys' problems, nor does she show emotion to her family at all, even in great tragedy. To which there is so much tragedy in this film, I actually thought this was a joke. But no, these things happened, including a certain member of the family who actually did hide a severe injury in the WWF throughout his career, which is quite frankly incredible. And more interesting than this film, they really should have just made a movie about him. The movie meanders about the relationships, and there are some entertaining and fun wrestling match scenes, which gets very meta when you think a director is directing a pre-rehearsed scene for a pre-rehearsed entertainment sport. Who is choreographing who at this point? The Iron Claw is not a violent movie, I'm sorry to say. This is wrestling in the purest, choreographed sense. The athleticism and acrobatism is commendable from the cast, but the stakes really aren't ever there for you to really care, as the outcome is already predetermined. It's all a show at the end of the day. You rise up based on ratings and popularity. It does show the sport as very hollow despite the extreme commitments and sacrifices the wrestlers make to be successful in that industry. So with the stakes not high, we are left with just a tale of woe, which is fine, but it goes on way too long, and there is no real resolution with the father figure. In fact, we don't even get told what happens to him in the end. Given he is the source of all conflict and pain, it is bizarre that the movie, for the sake of payoff or having a truly emotional climax, never actually takes that opportunity. Perhaps it never happened in real life, perhaps Zac's character never did confront his father properly, but then again, this film is likely very loosely following the true story. In fact, there was another brother who also met a tragic end, who does not feature in this film. I am not really spoiling it with tragedy talk here, as the trailer showed you the entire fucking film. Sad to say it, but it's true. Did this affect my enjoyment? I think it probably did, and I would hope that movie companies learn that going back to this show all trailer style ruins the experience. Also, showing dishonest edits of a film to trick people into watching is also not okay. I'm looking at you, the creator, Napoleon, Killers of the Flower Moon, and so on. I really don't seek out trailers for films. I prefer to go in blind, but given I go to the cinema so often, I'm subjected to many, and unfortunately The Iron Claw was one. And this is not me being unable to appreciate a biopic or a certain subgenre like wrestling. I loved last year's Elvis movie, and I have no interest in Elvis or his music. So I can say with certainty that there are levels to biopics, and The Iron Claw just isn't top tier. The writing may be the strongest part, and this intertwines with the great performances. It's clear you can't have a great performance without great writing. The quality of the writing lies solely in the dialogue, the brotherly interactions, and the father figure's cruel exploitation through verbal means are extremely weighty and impactful. Bizarrely, I can't really comment on the direction, visuals, or music, as everything was just simply good or good enough. Perfunctory. Yeah, this movie is perfunctory. They do play Rush though, which obviously makes this movie infinitely better. And again, I must complain, the screen size for this movie is limited. Again, how many fucking times I go to the cinema, I pay for a full screen experience. What I get is a film with a third of the screen missing. I am yet to notice the difference or impact of a reduced aspect ratio on improving any element of a film. Prove me wrong, please. Ultimately, The Iron Claw is not a bad movie. Don't get me wrong, it is actually good. Watch it for the performances alone. But like buying a pizza that looks really good but then tastes a bit average, you can still appreciate it. It'll do the trick, but you aren't going to go out of your way to have it again. So for me, this sweaty testosterone steroidal pizza was okay. Decent, in fact. But just to be fair, on a completely objective level, you cannot deny it is on the whole a good film. So I would encourage you to just go and make your own mind up on this one.